Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It is the match preview. Manchester United versus Everton, 12:30 on Saturday at Old Trafford. Another tough one for the Blues, a ground that we don't win at very often. 2013, December, the last time Everton won at Old Trafford. Brian Oviedo with the winner. It's been a long time. Joined by Joe Thomas, who is the Echo Everton sports correspondent. He's in the studio with us. Joe, difficult game against Manchester United, who I still don't think they're getting the credit they probably deserve really this season. They're obviously in the Champions League places. They've won again against Brentford midweek. Okay, they've had a couple of poor away performances recently. Anfield obviously was one. Newcastle comfortably beat them at the weekend. But Erik ten Hag's got them pushing in the right direction, and this is a difficult game for Everton, isn't it?
Yeah, they're definitely moving in the right direction generally this season. You know, I think obviously they've already got a trophy under their belt, haven't they? And I think obviously Champions League would have been the ambition, but when you look at how much ground they've made on Liverpool and Chelsea, I don't think, and Tottenham as well. Exactly, like you have to look at it in the rounds and say that for all the difficulties they've had in recent weeks, you know, Erik ten Hag has done an exceptional job there. Like he seems to have kind of created a unity among them. He seems to have got the winners playing again and things like that, and had a really positive effect on them. Obviously, we look at Mark Rashford and what he's done at the club. You know, it has been really, really impressive. But having said that, I think that they are also vulnerable. See, I think Casemiro's still out. I think Everton get them at a point where they're playing 3 games in 6 days. The win over Brentford the other night is probably helpful because it just cements them in that Champions League position. And their thought process might be slightly off. I think obviously got next week with the Europa League and stuff. So I think one thing that Sean Dyche has taught us is that relentless mentality. They're always in a game. So why can't Everton go there and get a point or better?
God, imagine. It will, like you said, it will be difficult. These have got I think ten Hag's dealt brilliantly with them this season. Obviously the Ronaldo issue, he just sorted. He chased him, went head to head with one of the biggest names in world football still, and Ten Hag was the winner there. And they've, he seemed to early on. Obviously, I remember watching them at Brentford, the second game of the season or something, and they got done 4-0, and people were questioning them after 2 games because they'd lost to Brighton on day 1. But they have recovered, like you said, won silverware, going well in Europe, going well in the the Premier League as well. So Everton will be under no illusions the size of the task. But as you just said, Casemiro's out and he's huge for them. He's been fabulous this season, Casemiro. He's huge. He was brilliant at Goodison when they beat Everton back in October, I think it was. He was excellent. But for Everton, I think the same approach against Arsenal, particularly at Goodison, 40 minutes at the Emirates, it was all right till we let the goals in. At Chelsea, which is stay compact, stay in the game, and then see what happens on the break. Obviously, we're very strong off set plays as well, and that'll kind of be, I imagine, Sean Dyche's MO for Everton this weekend.
Yeah, you'd think so. You'd certainly think so. Obviously, he's got the problem of what to do without Decore.
Yeah.
But this is a side that, I don't think you can go to Old Trafford and expect to kind of play them off the park. No. This is a side, again, that Everton are just going to have to be compact, they're going to have to be sensible, they're going to have to be cautious and just disciplined. But if they can, I know it's a cliche, but so if they can get through that first 20 minutes without conceding, then this is a side that hasn't been able to overcome teams through sheer willpower this season. They have struggled at times. I wish they'd started the season a little bit better because, if they hadn't got hammered against Brentford, then they might not have signed Anthony, and Mohamed Kudus could well have been at Everton, and Everton have that striker all of a sudden, don't they? It could be a completely different story, but we are where we are. So, I think it'll be a really interesting one, to be honest, because Manchester United are one of those sides that are supremely talented and they could beat anyone on their day, which we've seen already this season. But they also have the ability to just completely not turn up, and they also have a gaff in them as well. Yeah. So, if Everton can just stay in the game, stay disciplined, go no more than a goal behind, if they ever go behind at any point, then they've shown, against Spurs, against Chelsea, that you can never rule them out of a game, and they probably will get an opportunity at some point. It's just about taking it and taking it at the right point. So, I think it'll be really interesting when you look back at when Dyche took over. This run of fixtures looked so difficult. Chelsea and then Spurs and United. have already taken, they're unbeaten through that, and unbeaten going back to 4 games, aren't they? So, I don't think Dyche will be scared going into this game, and I don't think there'll be any fear from the players. I think there will be a sense of try and see this game as an opportunity.
Yeah.
But I also think from a wider perspective, we also just need to put our hands up and say Everton could play very well in this game and still lose. And,
Absolutely.
that wouldn't necessarily be the fault of Dyche or anyone else. And the table might not look great, but it wouldn't be a catastrophe.
No, I think it is. United are a top side, no matter what anyone says. And Everton's record's terrible at Old Trafford. In fact, Manchester United have beaten Everton 38 times in the Premier League. They've only beaten Spurs more, which is 39. So it's not really a fixture we're great with, I think. Our record's not great. They beat us at Old Trafford in the FA Cup in January as well. But Everton did okay that night, and obviously we're you're talking this from being 2-2, Damari Gray's toenail was offside, which Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored, and that game would have gone back to 2-2, and we did concede ridiculously early that day, 3 minutes I think, when Anthony scored. And Everton were able to stay in that game that night and did well, and another kind of display like that, I think, gives us the opportunity. We have seen Southampton recently go to Old Trafford and get a draw, and might feel harshly they didn't win the game that day. I think De Gea made some really good saves that day to keep it tight. So it is about staying in the games for us. And, set pieces lately, we've caused a lot of teams issues with Tarkowski, doing well. And see Fulham caused United issues the other week in the FA Cup before they capitulated. So I'm sure that'll be an area that Sean Dyche will be targeting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of those games where they've just got to be assertive. They can't go into their shell. They can't go there, look at this amazing atmosphere. 12:30 at Old Trafford, got the TV on the TV and things like that. And I say I think Manchester United are a side that can be got at if they can have the discipline to stay in the game, to not do anything stupid, to not make any silly mistakes. And set pieces are clearly going to be a target for Everton.
Yeah,
Tarkowski was excellent in the box. I mean, Hugo Lloris really struggled to deal with some of the balls into the box the other day. De Gea has can flap from time to time as well. So I mean, they're not the biggest of sides, it's Manchester United side. No. So if Everton can get an early goal, I mean, just imagine that.
Dreamland. We have only won 2 of our last 31 Premier League away games. Our away form is poor, but then Sean Dyche would say, well then, and you will have been witness to this, he'll say, well then, it's got to change, because he believes in averages, so that's got to change then, hasn't it? So let's hope Saturday's one of them. He did use a word in a press conference today that I hadn't heard him use yet, and he said that the substitutes were activated. So that's in your Dyche bingo. See if that one comes up. He won 2-0 against Manchester United with Burnley in January 2020 at Old Trafford, and he'd become the first English manager to win away games in the Premier League against United with 2 different clubs.
Oh wow.
So there you go, for Everton to get a win.
Make it free.
What a fill-up that would be for him to go and do that. Just having a look at how Everton lined up against Tottenham the other night. Obviously, there's got to be a change. Abdoulaye Doucouré is suspended. We went Pickford, Coleman, Keane, Tarkowski, Godfrey at left-back, Iwobi, Doucouré, Onana, and I've missed the Dyche out there in midfield, and then Damari Gray up front. You just mentioned it before, the Abdoulaye Doucouré sending off is a huge blow for Everton. Obviously, we wish Harry Kane the best in his recovery. With that incident the other night, we did, I think, just a bit of wind went past his cheek, and that is one of the most dangerous injuries you can get in football. A bit of wind whizzing past your cheekbone can put you out for weeks. What do you think Sean Dyche will do? Do you think it's Alex Iwobi could be moved inside, but that to me almost seems like he will be changing 2 or 3 things, and he doesn't strike me as that kind of manager. I think he looks more likely to just go, it's Tom Davies or it's James Garner, but
I like the idea of moving Iwobi inside.
Do you?
I like the idea, because I think the problem that Everton have got is...
That becomes 3 changes.
It does. The problem Everton have got is that they can't be too much of a threat from out wide, because they've got a target man to aim for. So you can put the crosses into the box that you want without...
someone
like Calvert-Lewin to attack. If you've got Damari Gray up top, then it becomes difficult. So you could have Ellis Sims there instead. yeah, the strength of Abdoulaye Doucouré in terms of what he's done for Everton as a forward, you know, from an offensive perspective, is the fact that he's helped to get him up the pitch through the middle. I think Alex Iwobi will do slightly differently. I mean, you look at those first 15 games of the season, I think Alex Iwobi had something like 6 assists and a goal, and he did it from that. I think that's where his most effective position is. And you can move Gray out wide, you can put Sims up top, so you've still got a presence up front, and you've still got someone who knows what they're doing out on wide right. But I don't think that's what he is going to do. You know, that's what I do, but I'm not a Premier League football manager. That's it. I'm barely competent on Football Manager. So I think what we're probably
you need to get better. You might end up managing a French side like Will Still. But
I think what we're probably more likely to see is whether Garner or Davies come in, and I don't know who that will be.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, we know he's a fan of James Garner. Obviously, watched him a lot when he was at Nottingham Forest after last season after he got dismissed from the Burnley job. And he brought James Garner on the other day as well. So maybe that, you know, looking at, you know, he's getting more minutes, getting more kind of exposure to the first team. He got minutes for the England under-21s as well, so you suspect that. But obviously I think Garner's a bit of a deeper player, and then you still have the problem, well, who's going to play that more advanced role? And I think that the danger is if you put Garner in that role, that you then try and do it with Onana, and I think we've seen that Onana doesn't work that way. And Sean Dyche, early on in his reign, Sean Dyche, you know, we asked him about this, and he said he definitely doesn't see Onana as a Fellaini type player. And I think perhaps against his better instincts, he then played him for a couple of games a little bit, Arsenal away being one of them, where he pushed him up and they tried long balls towards him. Onana isn't really that kind of strong in the air, certainly from not from that type of kind of perspective. So I hope he doesn't do that, and I don't think he will do that.
Is there an argument to say that without bringing Ellis Sims in, I'm not going against whether Ellis should. I mean, it'd be harsh for the kid. He'd have had a start at Chelsea away, a start at Liverpool away, and a start at Manchester United away. Do you think there's any possibility if he wanted to put Iwobi into that central role and so, well, he works hard and he can press high and help Demarai Gray out through the middle, that Nathan Patterson plays in front of Seamus Coleman on the right to try and negate Manchester United down the side? I'm just thinking that might, rather than go, right, we move Iwobi in, we pull Gray from where he is and we play Ellis Sims. Is it, we leave Demarai Gray 1v1 because, you know, he's no good taking it into his chest, but he likes to run down channels and Iwobi might be able to feed him. And then we have Nathan Patterson sitting in front of Seamus Coleman, giving him a little bit of protection. Wonder if that might be. I mean, possibly.
It's not one that I'd thought of. But like we've just.
I'm all right.
I'm not very. I'm not saying. So, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised. I mean, Patterson wasn't even in the squad against Spurs, so obviously we know he's getting close to fitness. But I'd be surprised to see him straight into the starting lineup. Obviously, he's a player that Sean Dyche hasn't seen at all.
Yeah, of course.
He hasn't played a single minute under Sean Dyche yet. And we know that he likes players he can trust, so and people that he knows what he can do with. So again, I'd be slightly surprised.
Let's be honest, it's going to be Tom Davies. Let's be honest.
I wonder if it might be Tom Davies. You know, I wonder if it might.
We're coming up with wild and wonderful things.
I feel like the odds are it's either going to be Garner or Davies, and I wonder if you know, Davies has performed in a slightly more advanced midfield role, box to box in the past. Davies has had quite a lot of minutes off the bench from
He did
Dyche.
miss a glorious opportunity to win this fixture last year, and he passed it to Yerry Mina, who scored. He was just offside. If Tom might have been able to take another touch and smash it beyond the we could be talking about that away.
He's missed a few opportunities this season as well. I think the one-on-one against Bournemouth in the cup, the header at Anfield.
Oh yeah.
You know,
then Saturday's tailor-made for him. A Tom Davies brace.
Exactly. So I just, as I say, I wonder if it might end up being Tom Davies.
Yeah.
I think, you know, James Garner's probably the favourite to start. It just depends what that then does to the rest of the balance of the side, really, because if you're not moving Iwobi in the middle, then you kind of risk having to play Onana further up top, and I don't really think that.
Unless he thinks, unless he thinks James Garner can play higher up, and maybe he can, because he has shots. Or you move Idrissa Gueye to be the not after that shot the other night. Not after that shot the other night.
It's a really, really awkward absence for Everton, and it's funny how it's developed this way, because obviously 10 weeks ago or 12 weeks ago, whenever you got Frank Lampard,
he's on his way out, wasn't he?
He's on his way out, Abdoulaye Doucouré, and now all of a sudden he's banned for 3 games, and Bearing in mind,
would you almost argue that Everton would have coped easier if it would have been Amadou Onana who'd been sent off?
It's a good question.
Because Onana, and he's a good, don't get me wrong, he's a very good footballer, does well with Ghana, but he isn't the one breaking into the box and getting goals.
No, I think you're probably right. I think obviously we know that Everton's biggest problem under any manager this season has been scoring goals. And it's been even getting to a point where they provide some sort of attacking threat, because it's not just, you can create lots of opportunities and just not score and still struggle to score goals. Yeah. The problem with Everton for so many parts of this season is the fact that creating the opportunities in the first place has been a problem, and therefore teams get comfortable pushing up against them because they know there's no threat whatsoever. Decore in the role that he's taken up has kind of changed that, and obviously it's not just Decore, it's what happens with the players around him and the change in mentality and tactical approach that Dyche has brought with it. But it is a really awkward conundrum for him to solve now, really awkward. And I do think there's some legs in what you're saying there about perhaps Amadou Onana, whilst he, I would say he's a better player, he's one of the few stars in that Everton squad. And okay, we haven't necessarily seen it as much in recent games. Although I thought he played well against Tottenham. Yeah,
he did. Yeah.
I thought that there was an opportunity for him to really grab that game by the scruff of the neck. He didn't quite take it, albeit just as he was doing. Just said he perhaps was growing into the game. Decore then gets sent off. So maybe didn't. But yeah, perhaps it would have been slightly easier to kind of deal with an Idrissa Gueye or an Amadou Onana injury or suspension than would be Abdoulaye Doucouré, which again just shows you how far Doucouré's come under Sean Dyche. So
absolutely.
So yeah, it really is pure one, and that's it. I wonder. We've seen the same formation every single time from Sean Dyche, so I'm not sure that he necessarily looks to change formation for this game. I think the reality is you probably end up with a square peg in a round hole, or you end up with Tom Davies playing in that position, and it may well be Tom Davies.
Yeah, I think it probably will. Let's have a look at Manchester United's team that played against Brentford and won 1-0 in midweek. De Gea, Diego Dalot, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, their back four, McTominay, Sabitzer, midfield, Fernandes, Anthony one side, Jadon Sancho the other, Marcus Rashford through the middle. Threats all over the gaff there from Manchester United. Everton are going to have to be very wary of that, and that's why Sean Dyche probably will just stick to what he knows and what the players are drilled and well versed with now, and it's whoever's tasked with going where they are, unless he decides to be massively radical and put Ellis Sims through the middle, Damari Gray just off him and goes, we're going 4-4-2, we're going to win.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he did that. That is an option. There aren't many options.
It's Tom Davies, Joe. Let's leave it there. We know it's Tom Davies.
I think when you start there, you look at that and you look at the threat will be. There's a significant threat from out wide.
Yeah.
Definitely. And when you look at everything that Everton have done when that's been the case for opposition with Leeds, with Arsenal, with Liverpool, then it was quite clear that that was one of the reasons behind having McNeil and Iwobi out wide, because of the cover they can offer to their fullbacks. And
that's why I was saying.
And therefore, you think it will probably be the case that Iwobi won't move into the middle himself and offer Coleman some protection against whoever it is that's coming down the United left. So.
Let's have a look at the danger man we've picked out. Obviously, it is Marcus Rashford, who's been in brilliant form this season. 28 games in the Premier League, 15 goals. 3 assists, he's averaging 2.6 shots per game. He's always a threat. He's a brilliant player. I wish we had him. He's one Everton will have to obviously keep an eye on. Scored the winner, scored a lovely goal actually against Brentford. It was a well-worked goal from Manchester United, and he finished it with a lovely volley. So Everton will have to be on the metal to stop him getting on the score sheet.
He's a match winner, isn't he? And they've got a couple of match winners. And that's the reality is Everton are going to have to keep them all quiet if they want to. If they want to do something, so it goes without saying, doesn't it? They've got to keep an eye on Marcus Rashford. But if they can, cut off the supply to him, if they can stay compact in the middle, you look at that Man United side. It's not the biggest side in the world, so set plays for Everton will clearly be really really helpful, and they're not. De Gea hasn't been the best playing out from the back recently, so if Everton can get their press right, they can perhaps force him into playing it long, and then if it becomes about trying to win the ball in the air against that Man United forward line, it's a completely different story. If you can force De Gea into playing long and looking to find Sancho or Anthony or Fernandes or Rashford in the air, that's a battle they're going to lose. Obviously, could have Weghorst up front, and then that would make Michael Keane and Tarkowski's job a lot harder then. So that might be something they have to contend with.
from training and everything at Burnley last year.
Dyche will know him as well.
And Dyche, so it's gonna be a very tough task for Everton at the weekend. We know that. I think the thing will be key for Everton will be the performance. Can we continue to put in solid performances? If we can, that'll help us over the rest of it. Stranger things have happened. You know, we could go there, get a fluky win, and then Manchester United can win all the rest of the games if they want to. But we need these 3 points massively, but obviously we know it's going to be a difficult game. Like you said, Joe, Everton could go and play really well and still lose the game. We have to not lose the momentum we've got, or the feeling that we're in at the moment, which is of resilience, and the Fulham game the week later will be a chance to bounce back.
I think if Everton were to lose, bear in mind the other fixtures, there's a reasonable chance they'll be in the bottom 3 of their game. I think the wider perspective will be crucial. You have to look back at what Everton have achieved on the Dyche so far and say, well, there are a lot of positives going into the last 8 games to suggest they can get out of trouble.
Yeah.
I think what is important is if they were to lose, it doesn't end up being an Arsenal away kind of scenario where you end up in a situation where they've just had the stuffing knocked out of them. Because one thing we've seen from this Everton side since then is the resilience that Dyche has brought into them. Yeah. And I think we don't want to end up in a situation where you're questioning that again at this stage in the relegation running. And similarly, you know, at Anfield, although that was only 2-0, you know, it took 86 minutes for Everton to show any fight in that game. Again, I think Everton could afford to lose this game and it not be critical to them. But what they can't afford is end up in a situation where anybody's left questioning their fight or their resilience.
And the other thing as well, Joe, is the goals. You know, before that Arsenal game, we were okay, and we ended up with a -4 in our goal difference could be huge down there. We've seen this week West Ham can see 5 at home against Newcastle. That's helped Everton massively. It's pulled what was 6 or 7 goals back to 2 or 3. So if Everton, and I'm not saying he will, actually think Everton might nick a draw here at the weekend, but if Everton were to lose the game, don't be hammered, because the goal difference is huge.
Try and retain as much momentum as possible for going into what is a massive game. But
regardless of what happens Saturday, the Fulham game is a huge game. Big thanks to Joe for coming in. Make sure you check out his articles in the Echo. Done some Sterling stuff lately. Keep carrying that fight, Joe. Keep questioning everything. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. How do you see this game going? It is a difficult one for Everton, we know it is, but you know, you've got to win sometime against the team that beats you most times you play against them. Let us know in the comments section below. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and if you want to become a Toffee TV Premier member, the link is in the description. The QR code will be on the screen in about 2 seconds. See you later.